podcast in my room again.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Alex Pearson.
I'm Justin Pearson.
Welcome to the Brother Side Podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us, an Elkhorn, Omaha icon and legend. Sorry, I'm from Elkhorn. Mr. Blake Martin with Frannet of the Heartland. How's it going, Blake?
It's going well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good.
If I'm a legend around here, we're in trouble.
Yeah, well, that just shows you the standards for our show.
Yeah, our standards are not high at all. Very low standards.
We're like, who do we know that we can get on here?
Who's nice enough that will come on, even though we don't deserve it. That's for sure.
So we always start off with a drink, and today,
Right?
Blake has picked out Founders All Day IPA.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that my first choice was the Citra IPA at local Vis Major Brewing.
Is that a
But
shout out?
they got a COVID thing going on, so for a couple
Vis
days.
Major Brewery. Where's that one at?
Vis Major, 35th and Center.
Oh, so that's
Maybe a new
local.
hotspot,
Local.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah,
Well, see, if you're listening
Yeah.
to your podcast, you'll know where to
Yeah,
go.
yeah. 30. Where was that? I guess I gotta listen now.
And Vis Major, the owner is your neighbor, correct?
Former neighbors, good
Okay.
friends. Their story is just fantastic. They are the classic couple that everybody told them no, but just grit and determination, they made a successful business. It's really cool.
Did they like start it brewing in their garage, sort of thing?
Yep, I was their guinea pig.
Seriously, what a sweet gig that would be, though.
Man, when they moved in down the street, I'm like, are you kidding me? You're starting a brewery and you're my neighbor?
Like, score!
Yeah, this could be problematic.
Yeah.
It worked out well.
Some late nights, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
It's easy to stumble home from your neighbor's house, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's the best part about drinking with your neighbors.
Right.
Even if you don't like them.
Just drink more.
Yeah, drink
'em
till you like them.
Yeah. Jinx. So now we're on All Day IPA. Is there a story to this one?
Well, so Founders, who brews it, is were originally based and founded in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I'm from, where my brother and my parents still live. So I kind of got a taste of some of the Founders stuff before anybody really knew it existed because they brought it out from Michigan to me. So, and they're kind of the story of the brewery that started small and made it big, sold out to InBev, and they're doing okay for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, Founder is a pretty major name. I mean, in microbrew world. What's InBev? I don't even know if I know what that is.
InBev is the huge distributor, owner of many, many major brands of beer and alcohol. I mean, they're by far the biggest. Sure.
Really?
Based in, somebody's going to kill me over this. Belgium, I think?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. You know, this isn't bad. I'm not really an IPA fan, but this isn't too bad. I've heard
Coors is more our speed.
I've heard IPAs compared to grass, drinking grass. I don't know how anybody comes up with that because,
Drinking grass?
like, how would you know what that tastes like?
I'm
You
just
know?
not sure where to go with that, Alex.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I don't either. I just
This is a session IPA, though, right? So the session IPA is supposed to be lower alcohol. I think this is like 4.7.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of times the IPAs are like 7, 8, right? So
Sure.
the idea of the session is you can do this in the middle of the day and still get through
Like
your
us
day.
right now.
Right.
On Monday.
I'm not going to instantly want to go home and take a nap. Is that-
Exactly. Unless you drink 6 of them.
Right. Well, it's tasting so good, I don't know when I'm going to stop. Well, you only had a 6-pack, so I guess we'll stop there.
So, Blake, tell us a little bit about Frannet of the Heartland.
Sure,
And
sure.
what that is.
So, Frannet, we are the match.com for local entrepreneurs.
I knew that was coming. I said the slogan's coming.
He told me, because he has on our notes that prepping, he said famous tagline. I'm like, what do you mean famous tagline? And he's like, he's going to say the matchmaker for franchising, and the same tag that you always use, I guess.
It works.
It does. And here's what it means to your question. So, it's a franchise consulting firm. If you chose me from a drop-down menu, it'd be franchise consultant or franchise broker. 2 different terms that mean the same thing. What we do is we help people who are thinking, we want to start a new business. We're not quite sure what kind of business might be the right fit. We help them with 2 things. One, figuring out what does the franchising world look like in the year 2020, and would I be a good fit for any part of it? Mm-hmm. And if so, if they want to research that in addition to or instead of hanging their own shingle or buying a business, we'll provide them the tools and the resources to identify and research businesses that are a good match for them within the franchising space, kind of putting them at the front of the line and introducing them only to concepts that have made it through our vetting so they know that they're working with the best of the best.
Only with you, Blake. I think one of the big misconceptions with franchising is that majority of franchises are food, and that is so incorrect.
Yeah, food or drink. Like you just think of franchising, you think of like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, everybody does, and so did I before I got into the field. Right, it's the ubiquitous part of franchising. You see it everywhere, right? You see McDonald's, you see Subway, and back in the 50s, 60s, early 70s, that was a dominant part of the franchising industry. But anymore, the challenge, and to your earlier question, a lot of the value that we bring to people now in the year 2020 in franchising is you go out there and Google it, and it's like Googling health insurance, and God forbid you hit submit.
Oh my God, the spam. Yeah.
And it's like, well, these all look good, and they all have really good marketing programs. So there's 3,600 franchises out there in the U.S.
Wow.
That doesn't
My
even
Lord.
include franchise systems that are based in Canada or Australia that want to sell into the U.S. So the challenge is just figuring out, where do I begin? What questions do I ask? How do I know which ones are high performers? And of those, how do I even figure out if it's a good fit for me?
Yeah.
Right.
So
And part of finding that good fit is doing a self-assessment test.
absolutely.
Which you've done.
I've done. Was that the DISC?
Nope. But
Assessment?
it to some extent, there's a portion of that kind of feels like the DISC, because what we're doing is benchmarking folks against. We've been using this proprietary tool, for 26 years now.
Wow.
And so we've helped thousands of people get into business successfully, and we're proud to say that 85% of the people that we help get into business are still in business 5 years later, which is a statistic we're very proud of.
Sure.
And we like that as a benchmark to be able to say, Alex, you look a lot like people who have been successful in X, Y, or Z category.
Sure.
Maybe it's restaurants, maybe it's fitness, maybe it's the other stuff that people never thought about, like a pet sitting franchise.
Right.
Or salon.
Yeah, I remember, for those listening, I've kind of gone down the franchise road with Blake here, and we've explored some different options. So I'm very familiar with how the process works.
That's how you guys became friends, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Through the business.
Yep. And
Exactly.
then networking.
Networking.
He's a networking god
Phenom.
in Omaha. Yeah.
That's what I hear.
There's not one event Blake isn't at. Isn't that correct? I mean,
Alex is like, yeah, I'm probably gonna hit this networking thing up. I know at least Blake will be there, so I'll know somebody.
I'm not sure whether to be proud of that or.
No, you're just well connected. That's what that means. Like,
at least
you're
I
just
got a drinking buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
right.
You're like, okay, where's Blake at? I know he's in here somewhere. Yeah, it helps, especially break the ice early on.
It does.
Blake probably can help you introduce you to some people that he knows there.
Yep. But kind of back to the franchising, you paired me up to a kids salon, a salon suite, mobility franchise, helping people with disabilities or elderly get in and out of their home. So those are some franchises I didn't even know existed. I wouldn't have thought of those because, once again, it kind of went back to food. But I remember in our conversations, you said there was only like 3 or 4 in your inventory of food. Is that correct?
So about 3 or 4%.
Oh, 3 or 4%.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we have, I think as of this morning, 232 different franchise concepts
Okay.
in the inventory that we've allowed in, that we've vetted and said, yeah, these guys meet our criteria, like 90% success rate, et cetera.
So you vet all 3,600, and then out of that, because you said there's 3,600 in the United States. Out of those, you vet them all and then work it down to the list of 230?
Yeah, essentially, that's the best way to put it. Now, not every single one of them wants to work with a franchise consultant. But,
Sure.
But yeah, the vast majority. So we turn away more than 200 most years that are interested in joining our inventory. And that's because we're just very, very picky about it. And to your point that you were talking about there, Alex, it's when somebody approaches us like you, we're not so much focused on what food do you like or what beverage do you drink or what's your skill set, meaning professional background. We want to first build that blueprint for what does the ideal business look like for you, your wife, anybody else involved in the decision. once we've got that blueprint, then let's talk about categories of businesses that really seem to match with your goals and priorities. And
Sure. I know one of the big attractions for a lot of people would be the semi-absentee ownership.
Right.
That was something I was unfamiliar with. And for those of you who don't know, that's a business that you don't have to work in 24/7, essentially.
correct. And generally speaking, those semi-absentee or semi-passive businesses, if you're the owner, if you're the local franchise owner, you're not expected to be working in that business up to 40 hours a week. It might be 20, it might be 30, it might be 10.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, I think most people can't wait.
Give
Wait
me.
a second.
I'll cheers to that idea.
Yeah.
Hey,
there you go. Yeah,
Yes.
part-time work. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not working your behind off, and particularly, at ramp-up points, you may need to be putting in a full-time effort. But the idea behind that is the structure and the systems and the processes that a franchise organization puts together. You can leverage those, and if you've got good leadership and management skills, you can bring those other things to bear to help you find other people who are the day-to-day, the general manager, the managers, and you're leading that team, helping grow that team so that they can be there every day running your business.
Sure.
So Alex didn't end up getting a franchise. Was it ultimately because you didn't find him suitable to own anything?
Well, I kept sending this photo to all these franchises, and they're like, no.
Nah, like it's just a hard pass.
Yeah, just look at that guy. He doesn't deserve that.
Our process is not about pressuring or selling. Alex knows that. It's about seeing if we can find a good fit. And if that fit means it's not something that we represent, all I ask people to do is take the research seriously. And if we just don't find the right thing for whatever reason, that's okay.
Yeah, you mentioned like how the background doesn't matter. We have friends that I'm pretty sure worked with you. They sold their insurance company and then opened up a Pilates studio.
Yes.
Like I'm like, how does it? That's not even like remotely close to the same thing, but it's
And you
worked
should have
for
seen
him.
the look on his face when I looked across the table and said, "This is one of the businesses I want you to look at."
Yeah, and I'm sure he's like,
Say what?
You're fired. Like, we are not doing this. But they opened it, and I think they opened a second one. Like it's
They
been
have.
successful.
Yeah, they've been successful. Yeah.
It's just
And the reason
crazy.
they didn't fire me is because my service doesn't cost them anything.
Oh,
Right. That's on the franchise.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
No, that's cool. I think that the concept is really interesting. I remember when Aaron was telling me about you quite a while ago in relation to the friends that we know that worked with you, and just the concept of pairing somebody with a franchise. I would have never thought of that as
Matchmaker.
Like matchmaker of franchising. I would have never thought of that as like a job, a business. Like it didn't even cross my mind as a thing. So
How many years have you been doing that now?
Oh, I've been in the franchising field started when I was 10 years old. For 21 years. No.
so
Hold
there
on
I
a
was,
second
10
here.
years old.
Trying not to date myself.
Yeah.
So 21 years. And the beginning of that, about 17 years, 16 years, was building up franchise systems. So on kind of the national corporate side of franchising, I took a small home care business with the owner, and we turned that into a franchise system, built that from nothing to 40 locations, and then got recruited here to Omaha by Right at Home.
I was
Now
gonna
everybody
ask
knows
you-
that name,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So you moved because of the job.
Yep, because of the
From
job.
Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was that guy that always wanted, I thought, I don't know that I want to go through my whole life always living in just one city. or
Like
one
us.
state.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah, but then
we
I
are
got here.
super.
You
like,
didn't want to be us.
yeah. Live
Makes
in
me feel good.
Elkhorn my whole life.
Yeah, but you guys travel.
Branch
man.
out.
Yeah, we are so vanilla.
Well, and he thought
I know
about being a Husker
You guys are
fan.
at like 80th right now, so this is way out of your comfort zone, right?
I know.
Yeah,
I
pretty
know.
much, yeah. New territory.
When we get east of 144, things just feel different. Yeah, because I grew up on 144th and Pacific, right by Miller North.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
My parents moved to Elkhorn the summer after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
And then when I bought my house, it was in Elkhorn, 6 blocks from my parents, because
Everybody loves Raymond.
I couldn't get off
You
the
ever seen
nipple
that?
apparently, and then, and then, I'm still living there 10 years later, and then Alex joins the party, so it's just I think that's where we're meant to be. But yeah, I always when I was younger, thought I wanted to move away when I getting into college, applied to Iowa State, nothing super far away, but
Just to get the experience.
yeah, just to move away. But
Right.
in the end, I just didn't. I was too scared.
You
or
know, a lot of
something.
people you talk to that leave Nebraska end up coming back at some point.
'Cause-
there's something about the
Because
Midwest.
it's the good life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's got to be that.
I think so.
right?
Yeah,
You've
well,
discovered that.
When I moved here in 2004, I thought, it was basically in the healthcare field in franchising. It was very unique, and I thought, I'll stick it out here for a year and a half, 2 years, and then, move on or move out. Well, that was almost 16 years ago. So
No
Get in,
plans to
get
go
out.
back.
you guys definitely got me.
Yeah. Is
I don't know that we won him.
Was it all the, yeah,
he's here,
right.
so
I don't know.
whatever.
You seem very nice. That's the
I
thing.
brought founders with me. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Leave me
that's
alone.
true. You suggested a really delicious beer. And the thing is, I didn't really want to drink anything today. We hit it hard Saturday. We were in a volleyball tournament.
Oh yeah.
And I was hungover like most of the day yesterday. Just, hot, drinking beer. And drinking in the middle of the day today just didn't sound that good.
But here we are.
But
back
here
on
I
the
am.
horse.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you brought the founders. It's delicious. I'm much better off.
you
Yeah. You just got to sometimes just jump back in
You do.
all the way in.
Hair of the dog.
So is it the Go Big Red chants that kind of really made you
stick.
feel at home?
It wasn't our winning percentage for sure.
Callahan was the coach when I got here.
Yeah.
so-
04. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So my whole family went to the University of Michigan, including me. So I completely understood what it was like to have a rabid fan base, right? And really be into the tailgates.
Oh, yeah.
Then I got here, and I'm like, okay, I didn't know football could be a religion.
Yeah.
It's not like that there. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
not- it's not
impression
that
I
intense.
get.
Well, there's more choices. I think that's
Yeah,
what it goes down to.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It's
You have the
Big Red here,
Lions.
right?
You have
Yeah.
Michigan State.
Yeah, you've got
Okay.
a number of universities, and
Uh-huh.
there's much larger population, so it just turns out that way.
Yeah. I just get the impression that it's as rabid as Nebraska, but Nebraska is all we have. The university.
Once you're in the
Hey.
stadium, once you're in the college town, it's just as rabid. But I mean,
The big house.
the loyalty here is, unmatched.
What else do we
It's-
got? Lingerie football? I mean, there's a following there.
Yeah, the Heart.
The Heart, Omaha Heart.
Oh yeah,
You
that's
ever
right.
been?
I have not been.
I've been
I
there
haven't.
once.
Maybe you guys could simulcast from there once.
Maybe
That'd be
we
good.
could guest and commentate. Be guest commentators.
Ooh, look
And-
at that.
And the lady gets tackled by the lady. Like maybe I should have done more research.
Yeah.
Yeah, the colors are blue and maize, right? For
Maize and
Michigan,
blue, yep.
maize and blue. What is maize?
It's yellow.
Okay, it just couldn't. It's kind of like with the
It's-
Huskers, it's
it's kind of
scarlet and
golden
cream.
yellow.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
why can't we just be red and white?
Yeah.
Like, why does it have to be?
That's too vanilla.
It is. It's very. Yeah, when I Facebook creeped you a little bit yesterday, since this is the first time we're meeting.
Let's be honest, you Facebook creep a lot.
Yeah,
Of people. Mostly dudes.
I have hours to fill in my day. Yes,
Yeah.
so
Industry research.
yeah,
Yeah.
industry research, and I saw you're a Michigan fan. I'm like, I wonder how hardcore he is. And then I saw you went to Michigan, and I'm like, probably fairly hardcore Michigan fan.
Yeah.
Do you keep reading up on them and that sort of
I
thing?
try
Are you
to stay up to date on them. Yeah.
are you a avid football fan? Let me
Yes,
ask you that.
I
Okay.
am.
Okay.
There's nothing I love more than watching college football and college basketball.
Oh yeah.
So what's that going to be like if we don't have a college football season this year?
More founders.
More founders. That's going to be brutal. I don't know if it's going to happen.
I was cautiously optimistic, I would say, like a month and a half ago. Now I'm not very optimistic at all. Like, I think after what I've read, it seems more unlikely than likely.
Yeah.
But, gosh, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
There's going to be anarchy. People are going to freak out.
Well, yeah, for good reason.
What else
Everyone
do you do
loves
in the
football.
fall?
Yeah.
Might be more flag football.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So anyway, I was curious because I saw your Michigan background, and the thing is, Nebraska, since we've been in the Big Ten, I've only played in Michigan a few times, a couple
I think
times,
3, maybe 4
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
and it's been 10 years already. So
So do you throw anything at
10
the
years.
TV when you lose? Are you that kind of fan?
I used to.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ever put a
Yes.
hole in your TV?
I've never put a hole in my TV. Thank goodness.
well, TVs are just too strong these days. It's,
At what
it's
age?
not
did
lack of
you-
trying.
At what age did you mature from throwing things?
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Thanks
yeah.
for
Oh,
the
wait.
sentence.
I'm still still waiting.
How are you defining mature?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, for me, like I stopped caring a little bit as much a couple years ago. Like I still care a lot.
We don't have a choice.
It's just so hard to lose. like, and still bring the same level of passion.
Over and
true,
over.
isn't it?
It is. It just is. And it's not, the thing is, I still know the same amount, but I just don't get worked up over the losses like I used to.
Right. You don't let it ruin the rest of your
Right.
weekend. Yeah.
Where before, just, you know,
For me too. I was probably in my early 30s when I was like, okay, this isn't going to ruin my weekend anymore.
Okay.
My lovely wife may have had something to do with that too.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is going to ruin our weekend.
right, right. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, well, you know, as you get older, your priorities changed. Like when I was younger, it was football. You know, I'm going to football games. I'm tailgating football games, and now I don't go to many. I don't tailgate any. So
It's called being married and having kids.
yeah. God, that's the worst.
That
Just
was
kidding.
Justin's voice.
Yeah. Let's clarify. Yeah, Aaron won't listen this far in anyway.
Nah.
Yeah, you guys were supposed to have a meeting today. She told
Right? She got sick. or
Yeah,
not
she was feeling
well.
terrible this morning.
I'm glad she canceled.
Yeah, she was feeling terrible. I felt, because yesterday all of us were all in the volleyball tournament together. So she was feeling
Maybe a
like
little
I was
dehydration,
feeling.
Yeah.
That's what Alex said, but
I'm pretty smart.
yeah,
Saturday
that's not
was
it.
oppressive humidity. my
Yes.
little guy plays Little League Baseball, and I was out there coaching with him. And I don't think the temperature was that high, but the feels like temp must have been way over 100. It
Yeah.
was
It was
hot.
brutal.
I think
The
it's supposed to be, yeah.
The sand was on fire.
Yeah,
Like
we played in a sand volleyball tournament. And we were throwing buckets of water out there just to cool the sand down because it was like
Well, they wouldn't
blistering
let
almost.
the place wouldn't let us use our hose at first. Like,
'Cause
there's
of
this
COVID.
giant hose. Yeah, some reason because of COVID, we can't use the hose to spray water on the court. And I'm like, our feet are on fire. Like, you don't.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's middle of the afternoon.
Yeah. Eventually they caved.
They did
had
cave.
to.
Like everyone was hardcore bitching at them. They finally caved. But
Speaking of COVID, what have you seen in the franchise industry that's really changed? Obviously.
way to segue
you like
back.
that segue?
Speaking of COVID,
Now I know who keeps this thing.
yeah,
going.
yeah, oh yeah, the train's on the tracks because of Alex. If it were up to me,
We'd
we'd
still be talking
we'd probably
about
in the hallway
all day IPA. No, but I mean, obviously the franchising world has had to have changed, and I assume once again more food is impacted probably than any other food and gym probably more than any other franchise. What other franchises are coming out because of this? Have you seen any new arrivals or?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say there's new arrivals and those that have just been able to gain because of the change in the environment. So an example of those that have gained because of a change in the environment would be, there's some very profitable sign-making franchises, right?
Okay.
And they do all types of signs and digital advertising, et cetera. But you think of every business that needed new signage if they had any kind of foot traffic whatsoever.
God, that's not something I would have ever thought of. But
Yeah,
yes, that
or
totally
just
makes
digital
sense.
imaging, period.
Right.
Tutoring and e-learning businesses.
Yep.
Really don't need to say anything more,
No.
right?
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't have thought of those as franchises. Once again, you know.
Yeah, I would argue that almost anything that you see out there as a business, there may be a franchise for it. The question is, do they have a viable model built, and what does their success rate
Sure.
look like, et cetera. So we have a bunch of them like that. And yes, the retail-based franchises, food franchises, they've struggled a lot. I will say, and I've told a lot of the people that I've worked with throughout this process, one of the best things I've watched happen here, which I also watched happen in 2008 and 2009, good franchise systems really step up in times like this.
Sure.
They know that a lot of their you think about the people who started a business anytime in the last 10 years haven't seen something like
Right.
this, really, at least
Right.
around here. And so how do you react to it? How do you respond to it? Well, these franchise systems, in many cases, they've been through it. Even if their organization hasn't, the people that are leading that organization, they've been through it. And so they know the moves to make. They know how to communicate. And so those were the ones that you saw immediately, like Vitality Bowl, right? The one food franchise that did help start here. So Tony and Katie, who started that, they have the 2 locations, instantly went to curbside, had the signage, set things up, and ramped up their app and their online ordering because, at least partly because they're just very smart owners, and partly because their franchise organization can give them the tools to do that and give them the guidance to do it. And so there's an advantage in that. It's more than just a good franchise system saying we're going to suspend royalties because we all win together and we all struggle together.
Right.
Do you
That's
work
it?
with the? Oh, sorry. Do you help people or consult with people that want to start a franchise? Like
Turn their business into a franchise
yeah,
system?
either that. I mean, because obviously you have so much background in it.
Yeah.
You'd be a good person to. be
Great
like-
question.
Yeah.
So the short answer is yes. If they buy the coffee, I'll give them the top 10 things to do and not to do. 'cause
Perfect.
Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt and the shorts for
Yeah.
how to do things wrong when you're turning the business into a franchise. So that's not what I do as part of
Right.
the core of my business, but that's what I did do for 15, 16 years. Learned a few things along the way, and learned who the people are out there as consultants that can help somebody.
Sure.
So I think the benefit I can provide somebody who wants to do that is I can help give you the big picture of what you should be thinking about, what you should be doing. And if after you've taken those really early steps, you decide I really do want to look at turning my business into a franchise, I can introduce you to people that do a really good job of that.
Right.
What's the weirdest thing somebody's wanted to franchise?
That's the easiest answer today. So pole dancing.
I knew
fitness
it.
business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that was like super popular for a while. I don't even know if it still is, but yeah, that was all the craze. All the moms wanted to get sexy and get fit at the same time.
Yep.
So what'd you tell them?
So I said, we
Let's
don't
do
represent
this.
brands like that, although we do represent fitness. But this was somebody who wanted to both start the business and then turn it into a franchise. So, first piece of advice, of course, was there's got to be proof in the pudding before you start franchising anything. If you want real deal owners as your initial franchise owners, so try to give her some guidance and help introduce her to the people at SCORE and Nebraska Business Development Center, and
Yep.
get some guidance on how to put the right structure in place to get that first one up and going and profitable.
Sure.
Mm.
I
Pole
kind of
dancing.
thought something with stripping was going to happen. You
Yeah.
just know there's a bunch of guys out there that are like, I wonder if strip clubs could franchise. I seem to be making a lot of money Friday and Saturday nights.
Yeah, I could see like that being like, let's see, what are the possibilities here? Yeah,
That's right.
Just deep thinking these strip clubs.
I'm going to be honest on my other side here. When I was in college, I had an idea to get a strip club on a semi-trailer. So you
Strip
could,
on wheels.
yeah, so you could just ride down.
Travel to the house
yeah.
parties and stuff?
No, you could
Oh.
just ride down the interstate, you and your boys, and have a
Why would you ever
mobile
leave
strip
the college
club.
campus?
No, that's true.
Up and down Fraternity Row or up
Yeah.
and down the dorms.
Were you in
True.
a fraternity?
Yes, I was.
You
Phi
were?
Kappa Psi.
Phi
Back
Kappa
at
Psi.
Michigan, of course.
Right.
So,
What was that experience like? I was never in a frat. You were never in.
I was
oh, yeah,
in,
you
I
were.
was in for a year.
That's
I was
right.
in
Sig Up.
SIG Sigma
Yeah.
Phi Epsilon,
Mm-hmm.
SIG Up, for a year, and then we had a major at UNO. We had a major party get busted, and then it got real lame after that, so I
Oh, yeah.
bounced. But there was like it made the paper. There was like 90 some MIPs handed
Oh,
out
my
at this.
gosh.
It was huge deal at the time. It was back-to-back nights of Mardi Gras party.
oh, well, that explains it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the first night was huge, and the second night they're like, "Well, if they're going to do this again, we're obviously going to give everybody
Right.
MIPs." And yep, everyone got them. Somehow I was able to not get one, but yes,
You were 27, right?
right. Well, I was still
Yeah.
living in the glory
Supplying
days.
the blues.
I was the bad guy. No, I was 19.
Hey,
and my
girls, this is a
girlfriend
Busch
was
Light.
with me at the time. She was still in high school. I think she was 17. So
was close.
Yeah, the paper said the youngest age was 18. So she single-handedly could have brought that number down one, which just makes it look that much worse, I guess. But at the time, yeah, it was kind of a big deal, and it changed the culture in the fraternity big time. You know, that big of a bust, and you know, a lot of partiers like myself exited. like obviously you can't have parties here
Yeah.
anymore. What else
No
am I in
ladies-
this thing
no
for?
ladies, no- no
yeah.
frat.
Yeah, just the out.
Not that frats always bring a lot of chicks.
No, not
It's-
necessarily.
Always a, I don't know, 9-to-1 ratio.
Right.
Not in our favor.
Yeah. How many girls did you bring? None, but I brought 4 guys. Sweet. Ratio's staying the same.
Stop doing that, Tim.
Damn it, Tim. Didn't somebody talk to you about this? Yeah. So, yeah.
So, were you part of some big parties, Blake?
Yeah, there was quite a few big parties. That was actually, ironically, about the time I was a senior, they started cracking down on fraternities at that campus, all the campuses in Michigan. But we had some, yeah.
What were they-
a couple
were they
years
cracking
there
down
that were
'cause-
very hazy years.
Yeah. Were they
Okay.
cracking down because of it, like hazing and that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Or
And a lot of it just had to do with some injuries at parties, right? Let's be honest.
injuries? Okay.
Yeah.
What's one of the memorable hazing moments?
Did you ever get hazed at all? Or like,
I was in a fraternity at the university.
yeah, okay. So yeah,
Have you ever heard of the elephant walk?
that is ridiculous. We're not going to describe that. You don't describe that, but look it up. Anyway, yeah, I got paddled hard.
Did you?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it
Bear?
was, huh?
Bear
oh, yeah.
skin?
Yeah.
Oh.
We all got paddled. And so you had a mentor, you know, obviously. getting
Great
you through-
mentor.
Yeah, getting you through. Well, it was the mentor's job to like paddle you in through the process.
To the gates of heaven?
Yeah, it was
Jeez.
kind of like the final thing, one of the final things. And I was like, man, this just seems so dumb. Like, why does this, of all things, why is this the thing that gets me through? Like, it turned out we were all already in. They just kind of wanted to paddle us.
Was it,
So they
was
could
it
kick you
full
out.
swings?
my guy was kind of a stoner, so he did not like lay into me.
Okay.
He's like, he also thought it was really dumb, so he just kind of like, this is dumb, and just barely. But some guys just.
Did anybody get a boat or just like the
That's
full
what
thing?
it looked like. That's what it was made out of. I mean, they were like solid. Yeah, and I was just like, dude. I mean, it reminds you of Confused when they're like chasing the high school kids around. They got these, I don't remember they have names for them. I mean,
Yeah.
it looked like these giant, sweet quality paddles. And I was like, God, these guys have hit some people before.
Ours was more about sleep deprivation.
Was it?
That was the,
But that could be just as brutal.
yeah, it was more of a cognitive.
Yeah, mental hurdles.
We got a
Huh.
lot of that.
Yeah.
How long were you up for?
How long was I up for?
Yeah,
Like
sleep-
when they're
Oh,
depriving you of your sleep.
I don't know. Almost
not-
a couple days.
Oh my
oh, wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
And you're trying to go to school.
Well, yeah, and that started on a Thursday or Friday. I'm pretty sure. And they didn't let us drive anywhere. That was probably a responsible
Yeah.
thing to do.
All right. So they're looking out for your well-being a little bit.
Yeah, they figured this guy can't be. He can't be bringing us beers for the next couple of years if he gets in a car accident.
Yeah. He still has value to us.
Right, yeah.
Were you drinking through this process?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh man, there's no way I could stay awake for a couple
Yeah.
days drinking.
It was something like at least one or two of us had to be awake at all times, and they'd leave us in a dark room and put on soothing music and.
Oh, my
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That would be-
Brutal.
And there was always the one guy. What did we call him? We had the one guy, who made it hard on all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Butch.
Right now.
We'll
Yeah.
call him Butch.
Yeah, there's always.
We gave him our own nickname.
I had
He was the guy
a.
that fell asleep on the watch.
I did a. That reminds me, I did a. They called it atomic sit up.
Oh,
I told you about this, didn't I? So they're like.
Remind me.
They kind of like psyching you up, like nobody can do this sit up. They're going to hold a towel around my upper body, like under my arms, towel through my armpits, and hold me down. And like, nobody can do a sit up. And you just get you all psyched up. You're like, yeah, I lift weights. I can do this.
Yeah.
And then as you're doing it, you're blindfolded. So the atomic sit up, you're blindfolded, holding you down. And at the last second, they let you go. And I went face first into somebody's ass. like just boom, right into the cheeks, like nose buried. And
was it bare cheeks?
bare cheeks. Atomic sit up, yeah.
Were you using tidy whities or anything?
No, it was bare.
Was this was around the time of the heavyweights?
Yeah, the thing is, the guy's ass, he's a firefighter in Council Bluffs now. I know who.
Are we gonna name drop?
No, I'm not going to say it, but I can still picture his ass today. It's horrific.
Hopefully that's a nightmare,
Yeah, it was.
not a dream.
Yeah, it
I
is.
can picture his ass. It is one of the most gorgeous things I ever seen.
No, not after that experience. No. Anyway, sorry,
Huh.
I forgot. That just reminded me of that.
Just
No.
started with pole dancing.
Yeah, it did. See, Alex keeps, like I said, Alex keeps it on the
I
tracks.
try. But okay, so atomic sit-ups.
atomic sit-up.
sit-ups brings me into Blake's workout routine. You work out quite a bit.
I do. Try to work out every day of the week.
Every day?
now?
7 days?
Yeah. Doesn't always work out that way, but
Jeez.
my goal is a minimum of 5, right? And so I'm not going into the gym and pumping iron for 2 hours. I mix it up. So
What do you do most commonly? run?
This
bike?
time of year, swimming. We got a
Swimming.
pool in the neighborhood. So
Oh, nice.
and sand volleyball when the sand isn't
Scorching.
too hot to
Yeah.
stand on. So I pretend that I can hang with my 17-year-old son and his 3 buddies.
Yep.
I can keep up for about 2 sets. And it's the equivalent of
Sub-
jogging a
sub.
marathon.
Yeah. With 4, 2-on-2.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you know where he lives?
No, I was trying to think. Well,
Yes.
hold on. I was trying to think of a neighborhood
Wait,
that
you're not going to give
has
up my SOS number, right?
has a pool, and I'm like, oh, this Blake's doing okay because my neighborhood does not have a pool.
Escalante Hills, right? Or
Yeah.
Roanoke.
Wow. Good memory.
We used to live there.
What?
That's the house on
He was drunk the whole
112th.
time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Off-
so that
off of
pool
Fourth there?
across the way.
Oh,
He backs
yeah.
up on the other side.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
You're talking the Fort House.
Yeah.
Wow. Small world.
Keep drinking.
So
Yeah.
when you swim, how far are you swimming? How many laps?
Hold on, I lost my headphones. You gave me a prop.
Yeah,
I found a way to
those
break it.
actually weren't real. Yeah. How far do you swim when you swim?
So I swim for about, oftentimes I'm swimming by myself, so I'm like going back and forth on the short end so I don't stroke out. And,
Right.
You know, that would upset my clients that are trying to find a franchise.
Sure.
So it's usually about 20, 30 minutes a lapse.
Okay.
That's a
lot of
That's
swimming.
a lot.
It's a really good cardio workout.
Yes.
I will say that.
I tried to do a mini triathlon at the gym, and it starts with swimming. And I was so gassed after it was swimming 800, and it took me like 25 minutes of just, and I was like doggy paddling, switching to a backstroke. I mean,
Right.
just trying to keep my head above water.
Yeah.
And then you had to bike 12 miles and then run 3.
Oof, jeez.
And I just wanted to see if I could do it. I did it with a buddy at the gym. It was so dumb. Like,
Yeah. Why?
just cause
Huh?
he talked me into it.
You did it though.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it was exhausting, but swimming is a sweet workout that I never think to do, honestly.
And tennis. But tennis is, that's
tennis.
not an impact on your knees and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm in a tennis league. I do that sometimes a couple days a week, but I have to mix it up because I think I was telling you, I get bored, right? So I can swim for like 7, maybe 10 days in a row, but I will find a reason not to on about day 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
I better have a volleyball match or a tennis match or something.
If you go
Yeah.
golfing, do you consider that exercising for the day?
Well, first of all, I would use the term golfing loosely for me. I can make contact with a ball,
Okay.
Okay.
and
That's half the
no, it's
battle.
not exercise for the day.
Okay. You still have to do something on top.
Wait, well, what
have
if
a
you
cart.
walk?
Yeah, if you walk and you're golfing somewhere with some hills, right?
Okay,
and
yeah.
you're carrying the bag,
Yeah,
that's a different story.
yeah, for sure. Alex golfed yesterday. You want
did.
to tell him about the shot you made?
Yeah. No, I chipped one in from probably 40 feet out.
Really?
That's a pretty big deal
Let's
for
be
me.
clear, though. There was no eyewitnesses. He golfed by himself. He
happened,
I thought you were
folks.
saying that you were golfing
No,
together.
no, he texted me yesterday saying he did that, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, no way. Like, Alex is bad. No, I mean, not. He's getting better. He's getting better, but he's still bad. And that's the one thing I've kind of always held over him. He's pretty athletic,
Yeah.
but I've always kind of been the better golfer. And it's really pissing me off that he's golfing so much now because I feel like I'm not going to hold that for very much longer because I just don't have the time to golf
Yeah.
as much as I used to.
You're a firefighter. You work 10 days a month.
I know, but I have 2 young kids that are
10 days
not
a
in
month.
school right now because of summer break.
Okay.
And who knows if we're going back to school.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm not sure, when I'm going to get out there as much.
You could go over to Elkhorn Ridge at night or early morning and golf 9
I like to spend
1
time
hour
with my family. They like me, ish.
ish.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, he made a 40-yard chip in yesterday.
Don't you think
Yeah.
if he was BSing, he would have said hole in one, right? A 40-yard
Well,
chip sounds more
he
real.
knows I wouldn't believe that.
I think
The
that's
funny
authentic.
thing is that's the second time this year I've chipped one in, and the other one was on that same course on hole 2 this year.
Oh, the downhill?
Yeah.
Because that was at Elkhorn Ridge.
And I'm not a good chipper. I'm just like
just on fire.
on fire there. I don't
You
know.
shot a 33. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
33 on
For-
a par 3 course.
Yeah.
6 over.
Yeah.
That's good. That's quick math right there.
Look at you.
So yes, golf doesn't. Long answer. Golf doesn't count as an exercise unless you're walking hills.
Well, and usually you're drinking, so you're countering your working out.
Right.
That's a good point.
Do you do scrambles?
Oh, sure. There's a million charity fundraisers. And
Sure.
There hasn't
stuff
been
with the
this year,
networking
though.
group. No, that's true.
Yeah.
No.
This- tomorrow we have our first one. We're golfing one tomorrow.
Yeah, they're
Nebra-
ramping back. It's going to be probably 4 a day in August and September.
Oh
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
They're constant now.
Yep.
Nebraska Realty tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You going to be there?
Nope.
Oh.
Won't be there.
You're like,
It's a
"Oh,
great.
yeah,
It's a great networking. I
Yeah.
figured you'd be there.
I'll have somebody else there.
Nice. One of his peons. So, speaking of networking, keeping it on the tracks, right?
No, I just
Should I
like.
always transition?
Yeah, I just like.
So-
Yeah. Speaking of,
Speaking of, what's another? We'll think of other transition words. Networking.
Yeah.
You're everywhere. You're part of Center Sphere. You're part of the Rotary.
Yep.
What else are you part of?
So we started a group. We being my volunteer work with SCORE, which is the volunteer, the free mentoring and coaching arm of the U.S. Small Business Administration. So there's an SBA chapter here, which means there's a SCORE chapter. So through that SCORE chapter and my volunteering there, we started a group called the Entrepreneurs Education Collaborative, which is a collaborative between us being SCORE, Nebraska Enterprise Fund, Greater Omaha Chamber, the Nebraska Business Development Center, Catholic Charities, so on and so forth. So there's 8 groups in there. The Ethics Alliance, who I
Yep.
volunteer with. And we started doing a series of educational stuff. Of course, it's all been virtual educational stuff over the last couple of months. So that's been a lot of my time because we did we're going to finish the last virtual session of that next week. That'll be session 21. It was a whole series on COVID-19 small business recovery and reopening.
Yep.
That was pretty fun. It was a lot of work, but it was pretty fun. So that's been a big part of my volunteering. The Ethics Alliance, it celebrated its 10th year recently,
Wow.
which is fantastic.
Yep.
The Business Ethics Alliance. I do a lot of stuff with veteran programs. So either at the base when they were having the Boots to Business programs for people that are getting ready to retire and thinking, maybe I want to do my own thing. Maybe I'm tired of taking orders. I want to give orders.
Sure. Yeah.
And the Veterans in Business Forum and Bunker Labs, which is a new group. They're just all about making connections for veterpreneurs. So
God, you do so much volunteering.
Do you have weeks where you're just like cashed out and don't want to do anything with any group? Or are you always on?
that's a
like,
good question, Alan.
Yeah.
It's hard to be on all the time.
There are times when I say, okay, I've got to. I don't go to every single one that's on my calendar, right? So there are times when I say, I got to be strategic about this, right? I got to take my own advice. First and foremost, customers come first, right? So if you got something you got to get done for a customer, then what's the use of going to networking? If
Right.
you're doing a good job providing customer service.
Right.
That's why
The
you're going out
networking is for the job. Yeah.
Right. But I think part of the reason that I rarely get tired of it, that I rarely get exhausted by it, because it's part of what helps the people who I've helped. So the reason I got into networking so much in the first place is I tell people when I meet them, look, I get paid if that match is made, right? And they start the business and become a franchisee. The franchise company will pay me a one-time finder's fee. But what I tell folks is this is a little big city. We all know that, whether we're talking about Omaha, Lincoln, Kearney, Des Moines, Sioux, it doesn't matter. These are little big cities. And so I'm here to help you through the life of your business.
Right.
And a big part of what I can do, even if they're part of a real strong franchise organization that can bring them most of the tools, that franchise organization will also tell them, look, you need to build local connections. And I do find myself being able to very regularly do that for people. If you need somebody who can do this or who can do that, or you need a podcast to be on, or you need a CPA, you need a financial advisor,
Yeah.
I feel like I can give people the name of somebody that I trust and have experience with. And that helps them grow their business. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, it helps my business because that 85% success rate is what we're all about.
Sure.
Right.
So,
God, you're so nice. You're so nice. Like you're talking about all this volunteering and just how you want to
You're
help
so
people, and
nice.
I'm like, God, I am the
Opposite
worst.
of Justin.
Yeah. Well, so I feel like I'm nice sometimes, just not near as often as you. Well, even when I was telling Erin, obviously she knew you were going to be on the podcast today.
Yeah.
And she goes, man, Blake is just so nice. You're just going to love talking to him. And I'm like, everyone keeps saying that about him. He's just so nice. And I'm like, nobody.
Find a way to not like this guy.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm like, nobody says that about me. Like, I wish that's not how I'm described. It's more like, that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
He's
He's a huge dick.
yeah, he's kind of an ass. Yeah. And I think I've become more that way since I've been on the fire department. Like, it's wolves, you know? I work with a
Yeah.
bunch of wolves.
Well, you
And
gotta,
so-
you gotta kind of become steeled. to
Well,
stuff,
yeah.
Just from what you see and what you experience.
Well, and it's
Some of the
honestly,
things the
it's-
guys say, I'm like,
it's
wow.
more, it's more the people I work with. Like, don't get me wrong, they're great people.
Sure.
But they're also just as hard on each other as any of us are. So, I mean,
Sure.
They're relentless.
they can be very relentless. They smell blood in the water, a bunch of sharks. They just,
Go after you.
oh man. So you have to just, early on, you have to clam up that vulnerability. Like, it's hard to be vulnerable around people
I
because
thought about that. Yeah.
in a one-on-one situation, easy. Like, everyone will, let the wall down. But in group settings, no, don't you dare think about being vulnerable. Don't you air anything out there that you don't want to be out there, because they, yeah.
Is there a
It just kinda
specific
like-
moment you're thinking about where you
Well,
aired
I'm-
something out?
not necessarily. It's just when I'm thinking about when I was a candidate, it's doubly like there's way more attention on and focus on you
Right.
every time you mess up, every time you say something wrong.
Right.
It's just all from all sides. And now, once I got promoted to captain, I think people are a little bit slower to get after me, which
Yeah.
I can appreciate, but at the same time, like, I know they're thinking it. They just don't say it, because it's the same thing. I'm like, God, they should be all over me for that.
Go clean the truck now.
Yeah. So they just don't. Yeah. But, when I was, early on, it was all, and so I think just the career has hardened me and made
Yeah.
me less nice.
Yeah, they call that an asshole.
But I was never accused of being the nice guy.
Brotherly.
No,
Never.
no, you weren't.
No, like, I was really hard on Alex when we were growing up. Like, really hard. Like, I remember he made fun of me for, he was making fun of
comes
me.
the story.
I was,
Oh boy.
I was playing intramural basketball because I wasn't good enough to make the actual team. Alex was playing at a pretty high level. He was in 8th grade. I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
And he was a starting point guard for the team. He was a good player. And he was making fun of me for being just playing intramurals. And we were sitting at the kitchen table eating breakfast, and I shot across the table and tipped him over backwards on his chair and basically had him by the neck. Like,
Yeah,
I was so mad, but I think it was because he was so right. Like,
this 8th grader knows me too
yeah,
well.
like, he was spot on. He knew, like, I was just playing intramural. Not that there's anything wrong with intramural basketball, but he was a much better player than I was. And it just stung coming from a 14-year-old,
Yeah.
and I was 18, big
Top
bad
of the
guy,
world.
top
Yeah.
of the world. And
We got into it quite a bit
But
back in the day.
yeah, I was not a nice person in high school.
You didn't really make the turn till college, late college. Well,
Mid-college.
Middle of college.
Middle of
Yeah.
college. Yeah, where I was kind of,
you invited me to a house party. I remember. I was like, "What? Like,
Yeah.
you're inviting me?"
once
to
you were
something?"
in college.
Yeah,
I
once I was
did.
in
I did
college.
not invite you to anything.
when I was a
in high school.
sophomore in high school. Come to my sig up party, bro.
Yeah, because his friends would always ask me to buy him alcohol, and
yeah.
I would
Use and
never.
abuse.
I would. I
That
never
always
did.
ends
No,
well.
No,
no. I
No,
was
he
like,
didn't- he didn't do
no, I'm not going to be that guy.
unless we stayed the night, he wouldn't do it.
No, that was my rule. But you guys were also in college at that point too, so it was like they're already
different.
doing it. Why not do it where it's more monitored and we're all, here together? So
Did you have siblings?
I do.
Did you fight with them growing up?
I have a brother who's 16 months older than me.
So
And
yes.
Yes.
My mom says to this day he still hasn't forgiven me for being born.
Ouch.
We fought. My mom, I mean, she earned her wings to heaven early on. We literally fought every day until I was thinking about it as you guys were talking, until he was just about to go to college. So he was a year ahead of me in school. So until I was like a junior in or junior and seniors.
Okay.
We fought every freaking day. If you think about it, at a certain point there, it got beyond my mom being able to intervene.
Right. Sure. Because you're
Full blows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my dad traveled a lot. He was a corporate attorney, so he was always on the road. Yeah,
Blake's too
my
nice
poor
for
mom.
fighting.
I can't. I know. I'm trying to picture this. I can't.
what's
picture
your
it.
You're
stance
supposed
like?
to fight with a brother.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. You are.
Supposed to fight with a brother.
Are you
Yeah.
guys close now? Like closer
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. He was always taller and bigger, so my stance was basically, how can I sucker punch him?
Well, we
was
all
my
know where that
stance.
lands.
Yeah.
Nut punch.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's
Amazing
awesome.
he had children.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Blake, do you have any incriminating tattoos?
I do not. I don't have a single tattoo on my
Really?
body. Not
No
kidding.
lower back tattoo?
Nope, nothing. No tramp
That
stamp,
surprises
Alex.
me. Big shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not shocking.
How about something else? A birthmark? Any weird extremity?
Any weird
Like a third nipple.
I don't know, does a 14th toe count?
Wow.
Or a tail? What was
A
that
tail?
movie? Tail. Remember?
That
Jack
was
Black?
Jack Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got
And Tony Robbins
Yeah.
brainwashed him.
Yes.
Shallow Hal.
Shallow Hal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have cankles.
Yeah.
That came from Shallow Hal.
You have your own
Weird-
podcast now, though, don't you?
Yeah, it's just about to launch. So I've recorded a couple episodes to it, and
What's it called?
it's called the Heartland Franchise Guide.
Heartland Franchise Guy.
Yep.
What's
So-
the obviously franchising, but what are you talking about specifically in your episodes, for example?
Good question. So the first episode that we recorded was with one of my alumni, Nikki Wolf, who started the assisted living locators franchise locally, which helps match people up. She's the match.com for retirement communities, independent living, assisted living, et cetera. So it's helping people learn through the eyes of others who've been there and done that. And then the next couple of guests are folks who've been franchisors and franchisees. So Don Eccles, who co-founded Scooters,
Yeah.
he came on. And honestly, guys, part of my point of bringing Don, and he's just a great guy and a great presenter and a phenomenal local success story.
Oh yeah.
But also, Scooters isn't a brand that I work with. And I wanted to kind of emphasize the point that this isn't about selling franchises for Blake, right? This is about trying to educate people on what the industry looks like and helping people figure out maybe this is for me, maybe it's not. We'll have a lot of conversations and a lot of guests that just have to do with business ownership or career transitions that have nothing to do with franchising, but still have to do with, hey, if I wanted to change in my life through business ownership or bringing in another business, can I give you some resources and tools that help you do that faster and better? That's what it's all about.
I think one of the key points to the franchising too is that obviously you want to find something that you like, that you can be passionate about. But I think some of the franchises that you represent can bring in quite a bit of money for the franchise owner. You guys don't represent anything, quote unquote, less than six figures. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, one of those criteria that we look at when we're identifying those top performers that we'll bring into our portfolio, into our inventory, is we go out there and we talk to the existing franchise owners and we dig into their disclosure documents, which are
Real
hefty
fun to
information.
read.
Yeah, real fun.
Oh, my
But if you know
250
what to
pages.
read,
Yeah.
that 250 is for a newer franchise. But within that disclosure document is contact information for all the current and former franchise owners. And so with their blessing, we do reach out to them, and we need to see that there is a consistent trend towards being able to either generate or replace a six-figure income. Because just about everybody that comes to us anywhere in the country, that's what they're looking for.
And I think that's important to know, because if people are going to make that transition, they have to know is the money there. Because following your passion is great, but you also want to know you want to take care of your family and make sure there's some meat on the stick, if you will. I don't know. I was thinking of a kebab. I don't know.
Meat on a stick. You totally.
I don't know. That made sense to me.
We'll make it a thing.
Yeah, that was one of those like Michael Scott moments where he just starts talking. He's not sure where it's going. Like
That's exactly.
I was like,
But he's gonna finish the thought
meat on the
anyway.
stick.
I was like, meat
On the plate,
stick?
maybe?
Question mark.
Yeah.
See if anyone caught me. I knew you were staring into my soul. Like, what?
Yeah, that was. I'm like, where's this going? Like, I thought you were just gonna stop talking. Meat on the, like thing.
thingy thing.
make money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, anybody that gets into business ownership, like you don't necessarily. Obviously, you probably do it because it's something you love to do, but you also do it because there is money to be made there. It's not like people want to start a franchise and not make any money.
And most of the people, let's be honest, I mean, nobody starts a business to lose money, right? But
Right.
But there's other reasons that are probably more important. That's what we try to dig into the beginning. What is it that you're looking to achieve? Freedom. Okay, well,
Right.
what does freedom mean? Does that mean you want more time with your kids? Does that mean you know the shuttle driver at Epley better than you do your neighbor? What is it that you're looking for, and you want to change that in your life?
Sure.
So that's just as important. They have to be able to talk to other people that are already doing that within that franchise, and be able to see that other people are living that lifestyle that I want this business to bring me. And if you can't see that, then there's a gazillion other things to go research and try to be the owner of.
Right.
So,
Right. When is your podcast launch? Like, when is it going to be available?
If I do my job tonight, then the podcast will actually launch next Thursday.
Nice. All the
which I think
major
is
platforms.
The 23rd. All the major platforms. Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
I'm excited to listen.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
If
I
there
have
was,
you guys on.
yeah, if there was, I don't know that you want
I don't
us
know
on.
that we
Will
bring enough.
qualify?
Maybe Alex. I don't
know.
I'm just a chucklehead.
You are.
Yeah, that he actually has some business ownership / franchise. Well, you've researched franchises at least.
He knows the field.
He knows
I do.
the field. Still, you're maybe going to be a business owner again here before too long. We'll see.
Who knows?
Who knows?
He's ruined to be an employee.
I know. That's just it.
It's
He
hard.
is.
It's hard.
Like, I've only been an employee, so it's weird for me to see him struggle with that idea so much. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the big deal? Like, it's not that big of a deal. But he's
Yeah.
like, no, I can't work for somebody else. I'm like, well, you are spoiled.
Well, kind of a little bit. Yeah, you know, when you did it for 16 years,
I
it's
know.
it's hard to go. It's hard to revert back.
I know it is.
Yeah,
It is.
definitely.
I get that.
Definitely.
Blake, if there was if there was one word or one phrase, man, I'm just one word, one phrase you could say to a former employer that didn't start with the letter F, what would that be?
That's easy. It'd be thank you.
Really?
God, he's so nice. God,
You know,
there it is.
I removed the F.
Yeah, I know.
Do we need to cut that? Do we
Yeah.
need to give a worse answer?
I know.
We need to
Jeez.
reshoot this whole thing.
It's just so damn nice.
I'm trying to pull out the
It's-
other
thank
bad
you.
side of Blake.
Gosh.
So
Freaking
here's the
nice.
truth.
I can't help but
I'm
like you.
blending actually both of what you said there in that I was that person that always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to do my own thing. I spent a lot of my career helping other people become business owners, and I wasn't. So that desire was always there. But truth be told, I was always in positions, ever since I got out of school, I was in positions where I had a lot of autonomy, and I had great mentors as bosses.
Yeah.
And I tell people, my only regret in starting a business is that I waited too long. But the reason I waited too long is I worked in great environments, and everything that's helped me be successful now is because of what I learned from those people. I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. My sister got those brains. She got the full ride to Yale.
Oh, wow.
I got to work my butt off to maybe get an A.
Yeah.
Full
That's how it
ride
was.
to Yale?
Oh yeah, yeah. She knows
My
like
Lord.
6 languages. And actually, you had a prompt on the list of something people don't know about you. So
Yeah.
I have a sister who lives in Manhattan, who is a New York Times best-selling author, and
No
supposedly
kidding.
she sold the movie rights to her book too. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the book called?
Primates of Park Avenue.
Primates?
Park Avenue. So
Is it
it's,
nonfiction? Like
it's,
fiction?
It's definitely fiction, but
Okay.
she blends in several of
True
her
stories, yeah.
PhDs in. Let's see if I can even say the words that are her PhDs. So she has a PhD in sociology, and she has a PhD in something else. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But she wrote this book.
I'm sure it mattered to
Sometimes,
her
yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very important to her.
Like, thanks a lot, brother.
Right. She won't listen to this.
Thanks.
Many people won't.
yeah.
She's
Let's be honest,
she's
many
a
people
writer
won't.
in Manhattan. She's not going to listen to the Brother Side podcast.
Yeah. All right. That's
Dang
fair.
it.
That's fair.
There goes our dreams.
Our
Dreams are
our
being
net's
crushed.
not casted that wide as not
Right,
yet.
right.
Not yet, Blake.
Right. 10 years from now, we might be sitting here regretting that I said that.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
So, anyways, it's like it hit at the right time because it's like a book that is a reality show on the lifestyles of ultra rich people in Manhattan.
Oh man,
Yeah. So
that'd be really interesting.
it was. It's not my speed. I can't honestly say I actually got through the whole book, but she's been very successful at what she does.
Huh.
Wow. Does she know that you haven't read the whole book?
She does now.
Yes.
Because I'm sure you're like, oh yeah, I loved your book. How far apart are you guys in age?
6 years. Yeah, she's 6 years old. I'm the youngest of three.
Oh, okay.
She was off in college when I was still just getting into middle school.
Wow.
That's not a place you want to be right now. New York.
No, it's not.
They're a lot better now than they were, though.
I think they're closing it back down, aren't they?
Well, they had 0 deaths as of yesterday. First time in
They've really
a long
clamped
time.
down on PPE and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Huh.
They're giving out tickets if you're not wearing masks. And,
Really?
Oh wow.
yeah.
Yeah, her brother-in-law, Alex's brother-in-law lives in New York. So.
Yeah. He was supposed to get a job, and then they rescinded the contract,
Oh, jeez.
and so now he doesn't have a job. Just moved apartments, and just came back to Nebraska because he's got nothing else to do right now. Nope, it's kind of a hiring freeze
Yeah.
in the positions that he's looking for. So it's kind of a stalemate. He's a little frustrated. You know, he's younger. He's later 20s, 28 maybe.
Yeah.
So really trying to
It's tough.
go gung-ho with his career and can't get off the ground really. So it's been frustrating for him.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, if he wants to do his own thing.
Like,
yeah,
we know who to call.
yeah. And you can represent someone outside of Nebraska, correct?
Oh,
or
yeah.
no?
Our company is a franchise itself. So I'm a local franchise owner. We practice what we preach.
Yeah.
We're franchise owners teaching other people, and we have locations all over North America.
But you specifically could not represent him.
I could,
Oh,
absolutely.
you could?
Yeah.
So there's not a territory restriction?
We work together. So
Okay.
I have peers who are in New York and could help him. We could help him together, whatever is best for the client.
You're like, give me that finder's fee. Come on, Brett.
Whatever-
Take it out of
Brett from New
Alex and
York.
beer.
Yeah.
Alex, you owe me 48 all-day IPAs.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about all the time we have today. Be
Yeah.
sure to check out Blake's new podcast, The Heartland Franchise Guy.
You got it.
Heartland
That's
franchise
coming out
guy.
next week, hopefully.
If he does his homework.
Yep,
Right.
all the major platforms. And that's it for this episode of the Brother Side Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys. It was a blast.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Blake.
Blake.